ability to ensure that you understand what exactly the success is and in a different way. That's why you can see the title, it is Linguistic Pattern of Success. Once you interact with him, have the conversation with him, you will know the real meaning. And I'm sure at the end of this conversation, you will have many takeaways so that you can implement and make yourself more successful in whatsoever areas you want. So please put in the chat box that from where you're joining, what's a good name, and what's the energy you are bringing in so that he gets energized. And with all your permission, I will invite him, and I request you all to please help me to welcome our guest speaker, and he is Shafiq Z. Yes, as you can see on the screen, he is a success strategist. Yes, he makes a strategy to make you successful. He's a thought leader and he is empowerment advocate. Yes, empowerment advocate. And his philosophy, his mission, his purpose of life is very much in congruence with the Empowerment Talks platform. That's a great thing. And I'm sure you all are going to enjoy this conversation. So please help me to welcome Mr. Shafiq Z and give a huge round of applause so that he can have the conversation with you all. Over to you, Mr. Shafiq Z.
Thank you, Kunan Saab. And good evening, all of you attending from different parts of the world. This is Dubai here, and my name is Shafiq Z. And I welcome Afnan, Mr. Anil, Ganesh, Khalid Khan, give me a message. Thank you very much. Krishna Raj Iyer, Lakshmi, Ravi Shankar, Major Narayanan, Raja Sekaran, Ram, Sarab Sashu, Satya Prasad, Sirini, Uruba, Vaithanathan, Gopalan, and Mr. Kunan Shaidi. Thank you for all being part of this talk. We have already actually consumed some of your time, so that is due to some glitch. But as I am a strategist, so we just switch over from one form of communication, the laptop, to other form of communication, the mobile phone. That's one of the strategy, a backup strategy. And then I believe my Wi-Fi was not working very well, so I have switched over from the Wi-Fi to mobile data. So that is a strategy sometimes you have to keep in your pockets. If one thing doesn't work, apply the other thing. It's not the destination which is important, it's a journey. Somebody said, it is a journey that matters, because a journey is a journey that makes you what you are today or what you will become tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shafiq Z, and today I'm going to talk to you about the language patterns. And I will touch a subject that's very interesting, and you will have a takeaway today. You will understand sometimes in life why we do what we do. If this question is answered, then a lot of different problems can be solved. If we understand and we know what we do, and why we do. To start with this conversation or talk, the empowerment talk, as I am also empowered coach, because this is a small time, otherwise we will appreciate your participation, your interaction. Still, I'm available. If you have any question or input, you're most welcome to participate and input in this process. Or if you have any question, you can always direct me through either Mr. Kunan or the empowerment team. I will be glad to answer those questions and queries. And as well, I will also be providing you, if you require, some kind of notes. I can give it to you. That's not an issue. Okay. Now, imagine a situation. You are in a party. There's a big bash happening in a friend circle, in your office, in a weekend somewhere, and you find there's someone who's very attractive, and you automatically feel some closeness, some kind of charm, some kind of magic to that person. This happens to many of us. A lot of time we see this kind of situation. We come across people that we immediately feel attracted. We immediately start to like them. The moment we start to speak to them, we feel that there is a connection, the rapport automatically built between the person and yourself. Why? Why is it so? Is there a magic? Magic doesn't work in the real life, by the way. Although we have a magician there, but yes, that is different kind of magic maybe. It's not a magic. It is a set pattern of some kind of programs that run behind your mind. pattern behind your mental model, that drives you with your experience, with your life perceptions, with exposure to different events in your life. These kind of experiences, this kind of exposures, they make a pattern. And when one pattern of your exposure, one pattern of your experience matches with the pattern of some other person, you automatically feel connected. Sometimes there's a pattern that you develop in your life that if you know that some people they like those kind of some girls, they like those kind of male who are in some way same to their elder brother or their father, because the pattern they have developed in their life, it matches to the pattern of their father, and that pattern is duplicated sometime or replicated from some other person. The moment they find that pattern, they feel attracted. It the same happens when we have a language. The language also has a pattern. We all use language. Why we use language? Because the language is a way of not just communicating, it's a way of thinking. We all use the language for thinking. The way we think, the way we express our feelings, the way we have the expression of our experiences, we need language. We use words, we use phrases. And these words and phrases, when we use them to communicate to others, they just don't only influence us, they also influence others. The phraseology, the way we speak them, the way we use them, the point of time when we use them, it connects us with other people. It is sometimes very simple, it is sometimes a bit complicated, but whatever it is, we need to speak to the people using language. Our thought process always works in language. It makes us to feel, it makes us to act, it makes us to create the emotion. Like Khalid said from Birmingham, that it is some kind of vibration. Yes, the words, sometimes they create kind of vibration. But the language is something more than that. The language is just not a means of communication. The language is also a material for thought. Our thought processes, it uses language. And that language is something that we create in our mindset. The language, the words that we use normally, it comes from our experiences. Sometimes when we say, and how we say it, that is the magic of influences. The words, the way those words are said, those words give you the power to influence others. So when we say the success of language of success, that means there are certain patterns of language that we need to understand. If you understand those kind of language patterns, those kind of models, then it's very easy for you to establish your communication to match with the model of the person that is used by that person. For example, if a person is using some kind of words repetitively, okay, then you will understand from that use of words that what kind of mental model that person has been possessing, what kind of things this person will understand. Then it will be very easy for you to use the same kind of words and communicate with that person. So when you use the same kind of words, same kind of phraseology, that means that person and you will automatically become connected. Your rapport will build in few minutes time, and you will be just like, you know each other from years. And this is why we need to understand why and what kind of language patterns are there, what kind of models are there. And if you understand those models, we can shape our communication and we can influence people in different ways. It is not just what I say, it is also what I listen, interestingly. Because if you see some people, they use some words many, many times. I see. Yeah, you're right, I see. Or, yeah, I also heard that. Yeah, it also come to my ears. Yeah, this I have also come to know that, and I was feeling the music of a problem. You see, this kind of words come up. So you know this person is using something which is more on the listening side. If you know this person's that kind of model he's using, this man is more on the listening side of the communication, and you can use those kind of words which are more towards the auditory side, and you can influence that person from the auditory perspective. Now the point is, there are different models. I will just go to those models later on. I will tell you what those models are. Before I continue to those models, the point is that the patterns of the language that I use and the language pattern that you use or somebody else use, it comes automatically. It comes into our subconscious mind. It comes from our experiences. It comes out the events that life has given to us. It comes from our exposure that we have come across in our life. All these perceptions, all these experiences, all these things, they shape our language pattern and we take them. Whenever something comes to us, and if, for example, if you are walking on the road and you find an accident there on the road, then you will describe it in your own way. Yeah, Khalid, you say resonance of words helps to build rapport. Exactly. But what kind of words? This is what we are going to see today. What kind of words that will resonate with the other person? Because you can use a lot of words, but all those words may not be resonating with the other person. We need to understand that language pattern that will take us to success for rapport building, for making connection with the person. Okay. For example, if you talk to some people, they are always talking about ideas, about the concepts, about big things in life, about very generality. If you speak to these people, some detail, these people will be very much bored. This is one of the language patterns. Some people, they are very much into the procedures. They go step by step. If you go to them, for example, we live in this country and here everything goes with the procedure. So if you go to an office and you want to do certain kind of activity over there, they will not deviate from the procedure. No matter how expensive it becomes, no matter how costly it becomes, no matter how time taking it becomes. If they say step number 3 comes after step number 2, it has to be like that way. They are all open with the procedures kind of pattern. But if in my country, it's options. If something doesn't work in this way, we go somewhere else, find some connection, find some kind of influences, and we do the same thing in different way. So we go for options. So one of the patterns is options, other is procedures. Now, how do we know that which person is having a pattern of the options? And how do we know which person has a pattern of the procedure? The words will tell us. The words they use in their normal talk. You listen them. You listen them carefully, and if you have the knowledge of the model and how the model works, what kind of words the model uses, you can very easily identify, wow, this person is a person who is an options person. So in this person, we have to talk to him with this kind of methodology, this kind of words I have to use with him to build rapport. And if this person is a procedure person, I need to speak to this person in a different way, because this person will not deviate from the procedure. This person will always be straight. So he will not go left, he will not go right. And how do I know that? The words he uses, because he will speak his mind. Unconsciously, a person uses those words, and those words reflect their personality, reflect the way they do their talking, and that talking will expose the person. And the person will tell, yes, I am a person of options, I am a person of procedures. And there are 6 or 7 more models which are like to be learned. So those people who join one of my programs, which is called Incredible Me, if they are part of that program, we in our 3rd module, we cover the language patterns, and we work with our coaches to establish the learning of those patterns. And we practice them that if you are like a manager or you are a supervisor and you are to supervise a big number of people or a small number of people or group, then to effectively help them to understand your communication or to motivate them, you need to understand what motivates them, what kind of language they use. It will tell you what kind of person he is. And that's very interesting. Let me go move on. I will give you some more examples. Okay, before I continue, what happens in the 50s, Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky comes with a model. That model is a model of looking into the world. See, everybody in life, a different experience. As I said in the very opening thing, that when I see something, I see it differently. I give it a different meaning. If somebody else sees something, same thing, they may have a different meaning to that. From where the meanings come? Meanings comes to an same event from my own life, from my life experiences, what I have gone through, my belief system, my value system, my knowledge, my experiences. all they combine together and give a meaning. And this meaning may be totally different from the meaning Mr. X or Mrs. X will have of the same event. Okay, so if I see an accident, I will explain accident in different words. And somebody else see a road accident, that person will explain this accident in a different words. My words and his words may be different. Sometimes if I see something, I may put it in a very general way, but somebody can put and distort the same thing and put some more spices and what we call more masala into it and distort the whole thing and present in a different way. So again, it is the person's own perception that he has developed with life to explain an event. And how we know the person, what kind of person is that? Only with the language pattern. Let me give you some more detail on that, then this will be further easy to understand. Noam Chomsky, when he came up with the idea of the linguistics, he said that a person, when everyone creates a model of the world. As I told you, if same event is observed by 3 people, all of 3 may have different take on the event. They all may describe the event in a different way. This is their model of the world. Sometimes they delete the information. Sometimes they distort the information. Sometimes they generalize the information. For example, if Khalid Khan, a magic trainer, yeah, our perceptions shape our reality. But from where the perceptions comes? Perception comes from the thought process. Okay, this model, it helps to understand from where the perception comes. For example, if there's an event happened and I am narrating this event to my family that I saw something on the road today, and I start to remove the information from that. Okay, I only pick up selective items from that and exclude others from the discussion. I only tell them what I think was correct, maybe, or what I think was justified. That's called deletion. I have deleted the information that I think, in my opinion, is not right or is not worthy of communication. So my model of the world is not based on deletion. I'm not giving you the full information. I'm only giving you what I think, in my opinion, is right or is justifiable to give it to you. Other way can be distortion, that I describe the same event in a way where I distort the facts, or I add my own input into it, which may not be actually the truth, right? Delete, destroy, distract, and debunk, Krishnamurti. Exactly. So this can also happen, that my information may not be the exact information or replica of what I observed. I can distort it. I can add something which never happened over there, but I add information into it, okay, because that fits my belief and my preconceptions. For example, in the families, a lot of times they have quarrels in the family, they have problems because one person of the family, say in our kind of culture, say daughter-in-law, talks to her husband and describes an event happened in his absence at home. And it's really likely in our kind of culture, some cases, or maybe more cases, that when she's narrating what happened with the mother-in-law, she starts adding spices to it, distorting the talk, okay, and deleting which was justifiably correct. And she's distorting the fact. Same story, if the poor man, the son goes and wants to listen from his own mother, she will start the same story with a different narration. And maybe she will distort less, but delete more. This is another way of the people, why they do so? Because their life experiences tell them that this information may not be useful to be conveyed or is not worthy of telling them. So what they do, they either delete, they either distort. But the factual position is, based on those information, if somebody acts, he might not act correctly and will fall into more trouble than it was just by the information distortion or information deletion. Third is deletion, distortion, generalization. Sometimes, this is very interesting here, you will find people, they used to say that, well, I cannot do the business because no one in my family has ever done a business and they all fail. Or because my father-in-law has done a business and he failed, So I think we all as a family are not worthy of doing our business we all will fail. We flavor our conversation based upon our desired outcomes. Definitely, yes, Khalid from Birmingham. So, in generalization, what we do, we pick up one thing and we base all our perception on that thing because nobody in the family has become a successful businessman. So, all my brothers and all my sisters and everyone in the family is automatically, supposedly, a failed businessman. That's generalization because I have spent money in lottery for last 5 years, only 2 times, and I never won a lottery. That means generalization. I will never win a lottery because lottery thing doesn't work for me. And you will find people saying this thing that, well, my luck never supports me. I have never in my life even won a small thing in a lottery or in a raffle or in a lucky draw. It is their generalization. I'm lucky. It is like generalization. Okay. So these three kind of different information processing is always there, always there. Either people delete, excuse me, either they distort, either they generalize. And based on this information, if you make a decision, okay, that decision will never be a correct decision. So needless to that, you need to ask some questions to gather some more information. So we move out more to this where I want to go to. So if people who are talking in this way, they distort thing, they delete thing, and they they generalize. So if we understand that this is the model that they are using, so we know that this person is deleting information or he's having outcome bias and he's having some kind of distortion, then we need to put some more questions. We need to there are some powerful constructed questions that you need to ask to gather some more information to bring the truth out so that you can make good decisions, or you can at least know to the reality of the narration or the reality of the description. Now, what happens that people use different language patterns. So they delete information, they may distort information, and they may generalize the information. All things happen. This happens every time, and not always this is a bad thing. For example, we as a human being, every day and every second, we have millions of information coming to ourselves. Our brain processes it, and our mind stores or deletes it. Imagine for a second, if everything like this is coming to us, and we are supposed to use it or process it, in a no moment we might become insane or mad. So this is in a way also a good thing. Unconsciously, that the brain, it does not keep everything in mind, it deletes it, it puts into a filter there. But if this is same thing, if I'm describing an event and I'm deleting information, the other person may not be getting the true picture of the event. But for me, I don't find it worthy of telling, but that other person might be needing it. So this deletion is, in that case, may become harmful for that person. Now, what happens whenever the information is coming to us, the words, and they're all words, as I told you, we use words to express, we use words to think, because the words or the language, and words are the communicator of the language. The language is a system which uses the words to carry meanings, right? So these words has to be used. And the idea is that as a human being, as a person of knowledge, a person who has, say, trained through a program, he has to say right thing in the right way at the right time. But whenever we say things, the things go through filters of deletion, filters of distortion, filters of generalization. And if these filters are like big filters, so we retain a lot of information and very less goes. And if less goes to somewhere else, that means the less meaning is made. Then based on these things, what happens? There are certain programs that work in back of our mind. They are called mental models. They are a mental model which is known as general and specific. There's a mental model known as proactive and reactive. There's a mental model that is moving away or moving towards the options and procedures. Let me just give you a brief of those mental models. I will take one in detail. For example, our model is called proactive and reactive. If a person who is proactive, That means he's ready for something from well advanced, right? This is a person is a proactive person. A person who is reactive, he will always react to a situation when it comes. Now you are a supervisor, you are a manager, and if you have this kind of learning, this kind of knowledge of understanding that this person is proactive, this staff AB or Mr. Mukesh or Mr. John is a proactive person, if you know his mental model, then you are very well placed to communicate because you know his pattern of mental model. So you can place your communication in a way that can effectively convey the message to him because you will communicate him on the same level of mental model. If it's reactive, you will use the reactive approach for him. Some people are moving away. Moving away kind of mental people are those who are always away from responsibility. If you give them a chance to not do something, they will choose to not do it. Okay. For example, if you want this person to stay late, okay, and he doesn't want to stay late, then you need, if you know this person is a person who is always moving away from responsibility, so you don't speak him the way you speak normally. You know this person will move away. So what you will do, you will talk in those kind of words, which will be for him useful to understand his benefit into it. For example, if a person is moving away, you will not say that you have to be here all night and do the work. If you don't do it, you can say him that if you do this work in this way, then you have a chance to go early. He's doing the same job. One job you are offering him to stay in night. Other words that you have chosen is telling him that he can go early if he completes the job. It's only happened when you know the person's nature. This person is a person who's a moving away person. This person is a person who's a moving towards person. Same way, I will give some more time onto this, a general or specific person. If there's a person like who's a general mental model, for example, those kind of people who are like giving you general ideas, they talk about the concepts, they talk about the dreams, they talk about the philosophies, they talk about fluid thinking. They're general people. They will always run away from details. They will never go into numbers. They will never go 77.8754. They will never say 1.76 centimeter into 2.54 centimeter. For them, it is just small, very small, is big. That's it. If you want to talk with them details, they will run away. On the other side, the people who are specific people. Those kind of people, they go into detail. When they talk with you, they use numbers. They say exactly. They use some kind of phrases that will immediately tell you this person is a person who is a specific or detailed person. He's a person who always go into the minute details. He is looking for the small chunk. He will always be happy to describe things with the details. On the other hand, a person who is a general person, he will always look for the general things. He will never go into details. He will never go into, say, those kind of things, which will be step by step, which will be you do A first, then you do B first, then you do C first. No, for him, just do it as soon as possible or do it in the way that whatever suits him the best. That's it. Fluid thinking. It's good. It's good in a way. Why? I will tell you. If you know that your employee, two of them, they are general. When you speak to them, you speak to them at their wavelength. You speak to them with their mental model. If you know two of the employees are specific, when you command them, when you give them the instruction, you talk with them in specifics. It is a mental program. If you know this mental program that what is general kind of person or a specific kind of person, then you know at what kind of information they operate the best. A person can operate at his best if he's given minimal information. Less information, more work. Some person, they need more details to do the same job. But if you know that this person B is a specific person, for him, you need to give him more information because you know that this is a specific person. The question is, how would you know that this person is a general person? This person is a specific person. And this we only will know when we listen well, when we listen to the words they use, when we listen to the phrases that they use. That's why we started from the very beginning, the language of success. We listen to the people's words, their choice of words, the way they communicate the words. Yeah, by engaging with them is okay, but we are not engaging with them directly for now. What we are doing, we are listening to them. For example, a person who is a general person, okay, when just ask that person a question, and he will start, okay, just tell me something, right? Say, okay, just tell me what you did in the morning. Okay, so what he will tell you, he will use the word. Generally, I come in the morning, and then generally I sleep late and leave my bed at 8 o'clock, and then normally I leave early, and main concept is to take rest, and I leave my home, take my breakfast in the way, generally cup of tea and a bread. So he's using the words generally, normally. Important thing is that I have to reach office early. He will use these words too often. The concept, the pattern of the words you will observe generally many time in a 1 minute talk, or maybe he will, if you say, okay, explain me about this project, he will start. Yes, generally this is a simple process and project, and if you see in a bird's eye view, he will use maybe a bird's eye view 2-3 times. So if you are a person who knows the language pattern, you will after 2, 3, 4 minutes of communication understand, this person using the words, the key phrases, generally, bird's eye view, in general, normally, essentially, the main concept, important thing, in a big picture. Okay, briefly, I will explain you these words. He will keep on repeating. Anytime he has a chance, unconsciously, he will use those words. And if you are trained, person through a process, you know the model of general and specific, you will after 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes time, you will understand, Mr. Ramesh or Mr. John or Mr. Diselva is a person who is a general person most of the time. So when I want to speak to him and give that person assignment, I do not need to give him all the details, only those which is required to do the job. And he is very happy to have minimal instruction to do the job. The more I give to him, he will get confused and may screw something, right? So this helps you to understand the mental model, the pattern that person works best at. And this particular person is a general person. The moment you give this person the details, he will be frustrated. Too many ideas to this person, he will find very difficult to execute. So this person is good, but much details, this person may not be the person that you should talk in much detail and with the numbers and minute kind of strategies. Yes, but this person, although is like overview person, he likes abstract concepts, and it's also required because in a company you need people. Those people who can have abstract thinking, because people with abstract thinking, they are creative, they are innovative, they are people who comes with the ideas. So a general person is very good. He is an idea generating machine, but you need to identify the general person. And that is the language of success. You listen to those keywords a person is using, okay? And those keywords give you an idea about, okay, that person has a mental model of general. So go to that model, use same kind of words, use the identical phraseology, and they will connect with you much easily. You do not need to speak to them Mauritian or Venusian language. Just speak to them their language, which in this case is general. Next, general is specific. In the specific people, what they do? They love detail. When they go to a jungle in the woods, they don't go there for the trees. They go there to count the leaves. They go there to count the branches. They go there to see every detail that available in the jungle. They're not there for the beauty and for the serenity or for the calmness of the jungle. No. They go there for details. Just a saying. So they love details. If they are telling you, I went to the jungle, then there's a left turn, there's a small thing, and then a bigger thing, then blah, blah, blah. And the more you stop them, you interrupt them, ask a question, they may answer you. And most of the time, they come back to the very beginning and start the story from the same place. You may have this kind of people in your family, in your workplace, and they're telling you what happened with them 2 hours before, and you interrupt them. First of all, they don't like it that you interrupt them. Even if you interrupt them, They may give you an answer and we go few steps back, or maybe from the very beginning of the story, and starts again from there. They love it. They love the details. They love the precision. They love the exactness. They love the step-by-step procedure. Okay, they will say, firstly, you do. Secondly, this thing, and thirdly, so when people use this kind of words more often, you are talking to them, or you are in a place, in a say coffee shop, and listening to some conversation, and you find a person using this kind of phraseology many times in his 2-3 minutes talk, precisely, exactly, detail, step by step. Okay, firstly I do this, secondly or this, everything is on plan. He is a specific person. Now you identify him, and this kind of person is in your team. It's very easy to handle him. It's very easy to motivate him. It's very easy to not control him, manage him. It's very easy for you to connect with him, because you know this is a person who is a specific person, and I know the words, I know the phrases, I know the statements, I know those kind of words to be used that can connect me to this person like that. So general, specific, same way there are other patterns as well. So for now, keep this in mind as a takeaway today, that from today for next 2-3 days, observe people around you who are general, and observe people around you who are specific. People around you who are general, they will use this kind of phraseology. For example, generally, bird's eye view, in general, normally, essentially, and those which are specific, they will use this kind of words. So you only are listening the words. This is what we call success with the language. You listen to the language, you listen to their choice of words, and then you know their mental program. You know their filters from which they process their filtration. They delete, they distort, they generalize with that filter of their preciseness or specificity or their generality. So when people who are general are specific, they go to detail. And this is good in a way that these people will not miss anything. They go very step by step. But the problem is, they are so much into detail that they will delay a project. Even you are in need of hurry sometimes, they say, no, step number 3 is incomplete. I cannot let it go. Although it can be, let go on, but no. This is the other problem, that these people are sometimes so religiously stuck into their detail orientation that they will sometimes harm the project. Just like the person who is general, he will harm the project maybe because he's so general in his nature, cannot go to fine details. This person is so specific, cannot let it go. So you need to understand both kind of models. For you as a manager, for you maybe as a parent, or maybe as a husband, if you understand that if your wife or if your son, he always comes with you and talks in detail, he's a detailed person. Listen to him, let him speak. And when you speak to him, always speak to detail. If he comes with your phone model, he starts talking to you about the phone specifications, he's a detailed person. If he's a person who's a very good phone, nice phone, wow, he's a general person. So match yourself, understand them, and then from their use of word, not yours, from their use of word, you pick up those symbolic phrases, precisely, exactly, generally, essentially, overview, and you know the person. And when you know the person, it's so easy to motivate them. It's so easy to work with them. So easy to create an environment where you can very easily influence people, okay? And you can get them to work at your, I cannot say control them, but at your own choices for a better management. I think Mr. Skonan, I can see him on the screen. So it looks like the time is over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Your conversation is so powerful. I wish you keep on continuing this discussion. But yes, we have limitation for the time. And
can I have 1 minute, only 60 seconds?
Yeah, please, sir. Go ahead.
Just to wrap it, in a way. So my friends who are here, just from today onward, try to observe these two kind of people in your workplace, in your family, in your friend circle, who use general model, general pattern, and what word they use, and find those who are specific. And once you know that this Mr. ABC is a general, try to communicate this person for next 2-3 days with the same phrases that he is using. or a person who is specific, try to communicate this person with the same phrases and same way, details, and then try to observe how well it connects with you and does your rapport with the person improves or not. That is your takeaway from this talk today. Language of success,
Wonderful.
connecting people, influencing people, and making a better relationship just by understanding their mental model by the use of their words. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think you have given us a great tip to develop a rapport with anyone just by observing the language what they use. And
Exactly, sir.
this is what is my takeaway because whatever we do, wherever we are, we have to interact with other human beings. And if we can interact successfully with other human beings, then we can achieve whatsoever we want to achieve from other persons. So that's a great tip. Thank you so much, Mr. Shafiq Z. And I'm sure that our audience are delighted to get this information from you. And I must say that these are the golden nuggets which all must definitely implement. And as Mr. Shafiq explained, let's practice it because the knowledge is good, but it becomes useful when we really implement. And that is the power, that is the purpose of empowerment talks. And as Mr. Shafiq Z himself is empowerment advocate, so this is a reflection in his thoughts, in his conversation, is that he is empowering all of us. So thank you so much, Mr. Shafiq Z. And I request my audience to ask some questions.
Just one
Yes.
thing, everybody who sent me a message, Mr. Khalid and Sarab and other people, thank you for your message. And as I told you, I'm always available. Anything I can do, any help, assistance, with all due respect, I'm always there. And you can always contact the empowerment team, and I will be glad to answer your question or take you further. This was a 45 minutes talk. It's normally a 3 days course. So if I rush, please apologize from my side. But thank you for being a great audience. Thank you very much, Khalid and everyone. Any questions?
In case, sir, our audience would like to connect with you to know more about your Incredible Me program, how can we reach you, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm on the Facebook by Shafiq Z, and you can always search me by Shafiq Z on
And
the Facebook and
right,
by Incredible Me. And through you, always I can send you the link, and they can connect all the time. Most welcome.
very good. And if you allow me, can I share your mobile number here on the chat
Yes,
box?
no problem, sir. Most welcome. 050.
I have your number 0509094392.
Yes, sir. Yes, Khalid, I am on the LinkedIn. You just message me on this number, and I will give you my LinkedIn contact as well.
And your spelling name is quite unique, so I am sure that people can reach you. It is SHAFIQZEE.
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you so much, sir.
Shafiq is the family name. You know that. And once again, thank you very much. Whoever wants to contact me, please do so. You're most welcome. And thank you for Kunan Saab, like my elder brother. He invited me today, and hopefully I was able to do justice and up to your expectation.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I have some questions. If you allow me, may I ask some questions, and then I'll request our audience to ask some questions. So you mentioned, sir, about the mental model, pattern, and solves all the aspects when we interact with the other person to observe. What is your suggestion? How can we observe ourselves? Like what exactly the pattern we follow? What types of languages we do use, and where exactly we are? Are we general or are we specific? If we have to identify ourselves, what shall we do, sir?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, Kunan sir. The point is, I only explained one pattern, which is the general and specific. There are 6 or 7 other patterns that I just mentioned them. Now, if you want to identify yours, you need to first of all go through all those patterns. So that's why we have this kind of training. So if you study them, learn them, you know this is it. Again, this is all happening subconsciously. It's all automatic process. It developed in your childhood with your experiences, with your value system, with your belief, with the knowledge over very early formative years. Now what you are doing subconsciously. You are not even thinking about it. So it is difficult for you to know it unless you consciously observe it. For example, for myself, when I came into this kind of thing, then I realized that my model is a combination of specific and general, and mostly I am very specific, right? So now, and my wife is, so I'm general. My wife is very specific, and so when she speaks, okay, she speaks in details. I listen to her, and now when I want to speak to her, I use details. I give you this, the thing came 14 dirham 75 fils, and this is half a kilo packet. Not small, not big. So you have to observe your own. So you have to observe your own for a few days, and then you come to know. Only if you know all the pattern, then you can easily frame yourself. Okay, this is my mental program. This is my mental program.
I think very important tip you have given to our audience, whosoever are married, is the first task we should do is that to observe your spouse, what exactly the pattern they follow, so that you can have more healthier relationship. The other question,
and this small tip is so valuable. If you just try to observe that thing and give a space for her or him, you will find your communication between you and her, both of them, will greatly improve. Small tip, greatly improve, sir.
True. So other question coming to my mind is about the perception, as you mentioned. What I have observed, and most of us, the perception about self or the self-perception are most of the time a bit critical, bit negative, and bit paranoid with the thoughts. So what is your suggestion, sir? Like what shall we do to really perceive our perceptions and improve on that, if there is any technique for that?
I just, first of all, try to understand this, why this happens. Now, most of the time, most of the people, they are falling into a state called GE dilemma, good enough dilemma. They don't consider themselves worthy. Why? Because most of the time, they keep on comparing themselves with others. Okay? They want to establish themselves as compared to someone. So, for example, if you are a good speaker, and if you are a good coach, or if you're a good supervisor, compared to what? Compared to whom? The moment you start yourself comparing with someone else, this feeling will come. So, best thing is this: stop comparing with anyone else. Okay? Value yourself as yourself. This is the most important thing. The moment you start compare to whom will come into play, and then this is the problem. So my suggestion would be that try to shift the mindset. Okay, you are a unique you person, and you are, and no one is like you. No one is like Mr. ABC. You be yourself. So perception will change. Second thing is this: the perception is with everybody has a different perception of everything, right? And perception comes from the value system, from the experiences. So if you go into detail into it and you revisit your previous life, okay, you find some reasons that this happens, and there are ways, there are methodologies that you can go back to your previous life and remove those perceptions and come back into the present again. But this is an exercise which is very simple, but it needs a little bit of time. Yes, it can be removed. Perceptions can be changed, and no problem.
Wonderful, great insights, sir. And as you mentioned that perception comes from the thoughts.
We have a question from Mr. Khalid, I think, after your question.
Yes, sir. Once I have finished my question, then we'll jump to the audience questions. So what I was asking Mr. Shafiq, that you mentioned that our perceptions basically comes from the thoughts, and thoughts or the thinking itself is a habit. And as you know, that the mind is a muscle. So what is your suggestion to build on our muscles so that we start thinking more positively, or we improve our thought process so that we improve the perception? Is there any technique for that?
You want to improve your thought process?
Yeah, thinking habits.
Thinking habits. See, mind always keep on thinking. Particularly any tip to have better thinking habits, they are techniques. Okay, but one of the techniques is affirmation. If you have a habit, for example, for some reason, of always looking or thinking about the bad things, right? You can always give yourself affirmation that things are, that whatever it is happening good for me. Everybody is there to help me. Everyone is supporting me. Or if you believe in God, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always there to support me. This thing. So you need to make an affirmation and keep it repeating in your mind. Once it starts to happening, what happens? Please listen. The simple words TFAR. The thoughts, they create feelings. Feeling creates action. Action creates result. Right? And thoughts is something that comes in our mind automatically. So you can force yourself to consciously think about something which is good. And that good will start, somebody says, I used the word earlier, resonate with your feeling. So thinking process, one of thing I can suggest now, a small thing is affirmation.
Thank you so much, sir. I think you had given us so many useful tips. Personally, I got benefited, and I must thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Gratitude.
Khalid Khan has a question.
Yes, before I ask Khalid, just last question to you that what is your experience coming on empowerment talks and talking to us? Please do share your feelings, sir.
Yeah, for me, actually, you called me, I think 2 hours before the talk, I think today. And because you called me, my first impression was that you called me, I have to be here. That's it.
Thank you,
but when I joined here and I saw people, there are 16 or 17 people at that time, my first impression was I'm very excited to speak to these people. These people are from different parts of the world. And secondly, I was genuinely surprised, Conan Saab, that this is 189th session. And for me, it is itself is a successful thing. And I know you started all these things, in the lockdown time, and you're doing a lot of things together. And for me, it is a surprise package. Great. And the whole team is worthy of a great congratulations and my salutes to them.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So on behalf of Empowerment Talks team, founder, co-founder, and all the audience, and whosoever watching us on YouTube, on other social media, I thank everyone for participating and being part of our journey. So thank you so much again, Mr. Shafiqzi, for coming on this platform and sharing your experience.
Yeah, Khalid, there's 2 hands up.